My name is Stephanie. I had a miscarriage at 6 weeks in July of 2016, and I don't have any children. I was in the middle of a work shift. I'm a nanny. I was with kids at the park, and we picked up from the park, and I was feeling kind of weird. It was really hot, and I thought I was just overheated. And I took the youngest to his baseball lesson. And while I was in his baseball lesson, I just got this really bad cramp. And I went to the bathroom and I sat down, and all of a sudden there was just so much blood out of nowhere. And I was so scared because I knew it was happening. Because my aunt had been through one. And she told me, she said, if it happens, it'll happen out of nowhere. And you won't know why. And I called Justin, and we met at the emergency room because my OB office was closed for the day. And I told them in the emergency room, I said, I think I'm having a miscarriage. I don't know. I'm 6 weeks. And we got there probably around 6 and didn't get any of the test results back until after midnight. And I just remember laying in the hospital bed the whole night. I'm sorry. Waiting for answers and praying. I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't think about anything. I just stared at a wall, and I'd blink and another hour would pass, and then the doctor came in and explained what had happened, and he said he and his wife had had one, and this in the same kind of circumstances, and that I was fine and it wasn't my fault, and that with luck it wouldn't happen again. Oh, that night. And I couldn't handle. This was the day after we told my whole family and my husband's whole family and our closest set of friends. And I said, I can't handle telling anyone. So Justin sent text messages out to everyone just to tell them I was in the hospital and I lost our baby, and that I didn't need anything or want anything. I just wanted people to know and be aware. I cried a lot. I still cry a lot. I have days where I get up and it doesn't bother me at all. I have months where it doesn't bother me at all, and I have days I tell myself, if you have a feeling, you feel the feeling. Because if you bottle the feeling up, it's gonna be harmful to you, and I didn't want to hide any of my feelings from my husband or my family. And I would sit in prayer for sometimes hours, sometimes whole days, and I would angry pray. And like before that, I don't think I'd ever angry prayed. And I would pray and I would just yell at God and tell him he didn't have to do what he did. And I would have days where I would sad pray and tell him I know there was a reason he did what he did, and I just needed to grasp onto him for healing. And there were days that I would happy pray that I had him to go through this with, and there are people that don't. And I don't know how people that don't have faith in God or something, or there are people that don't even have families that go through this, and I don't know how they do it, because if I didn't have God and if I didn't have such a loving husband, I don't know how I would go through it. I have 3 scriptures that I've leaned on that have given me hope or validation, because one of the big struggles I had were people, friends and family who didn't know any better that would say things like, oh, it happened so soon, that's probably better, and oh, it probably didn't even have a heartbeat yet, so it's probably better. And I felt like that downplayed it because it was there. So there's the first one, Jeremiah 1:5, and it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." The second is 1 Samuel 1, verses 27 and 28. "I prayed for this child, and the Lord granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord for his whole life." And the third is Psalm 139, verses 13 through 16. "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." I like the last one the best. I have it by my desk at home. To me, that just speaks to all babies, whether, regardless of how many weeks a mother was, or even infertility treatments that don't work. Every embryo, every baby has days, and even if they don't get to live any here on earth, God knew, and God knew how many days that they had. And they were all important. And they all had reason. My whole family gets tattoos when bad things happen or good things happen. And so I decided a few months after the miscarriage that I would get a tattoo so that I could carry our baby with us wherever I was, even though I couldn't actually hold them. So I did that. Justin thought it was silly and that I would regret it, and it would just bring sadness. And my grandma told me the same thing. She said, "Do you want to look at that for the rest of your life?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to look at it for the rest of my life because it was my baby, and I'm not going to pretend like he wasn't there." And it's not a sad thing. I'm crying, but it's not a sad thing. Because he's with Jesus with all the other babies. I feel like there's a special part of heaven, like a little nursery, and they have special little angels that help them sing special little baby praises, and they're probably the cutest. And I got an ornament. I got an ornament for my Christmas tree, my mom's Christmas tree, and my mother-in-law's Christmas tree, because I felt like the first holidays that we went through, I was just like it was so fresh feeling, and I felt like I needed something to look at that was physical in everyone's house that just would be a sense of comfort, and it did. It really helped. And you're not alone, because you'll feel alone. In the hospital, I felt alone, and the weeks after, I felt alone, even though I had God, and even though I had an awesome family and an awesome husband that did anything that I needed them to do. It was still, it's a grief that you feel with your whole body, because it's a mental, a physical, and an emotional loss. And so you'll feel alone, but you're not, because there are people that go through this one time, there are people who go through this 10 times. And I would say let yourself have all your feelings. If you're angry, it's okay to be angry.